Hello and welcome to Sports Akhbar. The stage is set. The crowd is ready.
All right, let's break down a T20 match that was just an absolute roller coaster. We're talking an explosive start, a shocking collapse, and a truly unbelievable one-man rescue mission. We're going to dig into how New Zealand set a target that seemed impossible, and then somehow weathered a storm to beat India by 50 runs.
And it all really starts with this one number, 216. You know, in T20 cricket, chasing anything over 200 is just a monumental task. This wasn't just a big score. It was a huge psychological blow. It put all the pressure squarely on India's shoulders before they even faced a single ball.
So how in the world did New Zealand get to a total like that? Well, it kicked off right at the toss. India decided to bowl, probably hoping to keep things under control. But New Zealand's openers? Yeah, they had very different plans. They came out swinging from ball one. And this right here was the engine room for that massive total. Tim Seifert and Devon Conway didn't just score a few runs, they completely took apart India's opening bowlers. Seifert's insane 62 and Conway's quick 44 built such a strong foundation that the rest of the Kiwi lineup could just come in and bat with total freedom. And all that early aggression? It paid off big time. Even though India managed to snag a few wickets later on, the momentum was just too much. New Zealand put up a massive 215, leaving India with a serious mountain to climb. Now, amidst all that chaos, India's bowlers did fight back a little. You see Arshdeep Singh and Kuldeep Yadav both chipping in with 2 wickets each. But honestly, when a batting lineup is firing like that, it's like trying to plug leaks in a dam that's already bursting. It was more about damage control than actually shifting the game.
So, the stage is set. India needs a record chase to win. And to pull off something like this, you need a perfect, aggressive start. What they got instead was a complete catastrophe. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than this. The very first ball of the entire chase, and opener Abhishek Sharma is walking back to the pavilion. That immense pressure of the chase just became absolutely suffocating. And from that first ball shocker, the whole thing just spiraled. Key wickets started tumbling one after another, and with every batter that walked back, that required run rate just climbed higher and higher, from steep to pretty much impossible. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, game over, right? It looked like it was heading for a quick and ugly finish. But then, the entire story took a wild turn. One player decided he wasn't going down without a fight and launched an absolutely electrifying counterattack. Just when the crowd was silent and the match felt totally lost, this glimmer of hope appeared out of nowhere. It's a classic reminder that in T20 cricket, it really can just take one player to change absolutely everything. And that hope had a name, Shivam Dube. And his contribution? A jaw-dropping 65 runs from just 23 balls. This wasn't just scoring runs. This was a brutal, breathtaking display of power that single-handedly dragged India right back into the game and set the stadium on fire. This quote from the commentary just says it all, doesn't it? He wasn't just finding the boundary, he was dominating, sending the ball everywhere. It was an innings that completely flipped the atmosphere on its head and gave India a real fighting chance. But here's the really crucial part. Dube's fireworks were incredible, but he couldn't do it all alone. Rinku Singh gave him some support with a solid 39, but his innings was more of a steady resistance. What India needed was another rocket, and the gap between their scoring rates was just too big to overcome. But even a heroic innings like Dube's has its limits, and you have to give credit to New Zealand's bowlers. They didn't panic, they weathered the storm, stuck to their plans, and with some really calm, clinical bowling, they just started to dismantle any hope of a miracle finish. And the two main architects of stopping that comeback were Mitchell Santner and Jacob Duffy. Santner's clever spin was just brilliant. He grabbed 3 huge wickets and only gave up 26 runs, basically strangling the run rate. Then Duffy came in with the pace and pressure, taking 2 key wickets of his own. Together, they just shut the door.
And just like that, the comeback was over. The pressure just kept building, the wickets kept falling, and India's innings finally came to an end at 165, a long, long way short of that target. The final margin really tells the story of just how well New Zealand played. A 50-run victory. Yeah, they had that huge scare from Shivam Dube in the middle, but in the end, it was a really comprehensive win built on that massive score and some very disciplined bowling.
And pretty fittingly, the Player of the Match award went right back to the guy who started it all, Tim Seifert. His explosive 62 at the very beginning of the game laid a foundation that in the end was just too big for India to overcome. That knock was the real game changer.
So it leaves you with this classic T20 question. For India, was this a story of one man's incredible brilliance that almost pulled off the impossible? Or was it more of a total team failure where that early collapse just dug a hole that was way too deep to climb out of? As is often the case, the real answer is probably somewhere in the middle.